Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a universal challenge, something I think we all feel, that never-ending list of skills you swear you're going to learn someday. Well, we're going to show you how someday can actually be just 20 hours away.
Let's just dive right in with a feeling I bet we can all relate to. This is how author Josh Kaufman kicks things off. He calls himself a learning addict. And, it's the start of a really powerful idea about how we pick up new skills.
No, really. Take a second. What's on your list? Is it finally learning that guitar that's been sitting in the corner? Or maybe learning to code so you can build that app idea you've had forever? Could be anything. Windsurfing, a new language. We've all got a list like that. In Kaufman, he had one of those lists too, a big one, hundreds of things on it. But then his daughter Layla was born, and bam, his free time just disappeared. And that feeling, that overwhelming feeling of having all this ambition but literally zero time, that's what set him on this journey to find a better way to learn. A huge part of why learning a new skill feels so impossible comes from one very, very popular idea that's kind of taken over our culture. And honestly, it's pretty intimidating. Yeah, you've all heard it, the 10,000-hour rule, made famous by Malcolm Gladwell. The idea that to get great at something, you need to put in 10,000 hours. I mean, that's like a full-time job for 5 years. It's enough to make you just not even start. But here's the thing. Here's the crucial piece that almost everyone misses. The original research from Dr. K. Anders Ericsson, it wasn't about just being good at something. It was about reaching the absolute tippy top of a super competitive field. We're talking about becoming a grandmaster in chess or an Olympic athlete. And this just shows you the massive Grand Canyon-sized difference between two totally different goals. On one side, you've got becoming the next Tiger Woods. And on the other, you've just got playing a round of golf with your friends without looking like a total fool. Let's be honest, most of us are aiming for good enough. Okay, so if 10,000 hours is completely the wrong target for what we want to do, then what is the right one? How long does it actually take to go from I have no idea what I'm doing to, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this? Well, the answer Kaufman landed on is about 20 hours. Yep, that's it. It turns out the learning curve is incredibly steep right at the beginning. So those first 20 hours of focused, deliberate practice, they're enough to get you surprisingly good at almost anything. Now, this brings us to what Kaufman calls the frustration barrier. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that awful early stage where you are just horribly bad at something and you are painfully aware of it. It's not fun yet. So the real goal of your first 20 hours isn't mastery. It's just to punch through that frustration barrier as fast as you can so you can actually start to enjoy the skill. So how in the world do you make those 20 hours actually count? Well, Kaufman lays out a super simple 4-step method. And the very first step is to deconstruct the skill. And the method itself is it's just so logical. First, you break the skill you want to learn into the smallest possible pieces. Then you learn just enough to know when you're making a mistake, so you can self-correct. Step 3, get rid of all the distractions, anything that gets in your way. And finally, you pre-commit to practicing the most important pieces for at least 20 hours. So let's take learning golf. That sounds huge, right? It's overwhelming. But if you deconstruct it, you get these smaller, much more manageable chunks. So instead of trying to learn golf, you just decide, I'm going to practice my putting for a few hours. And then you move on to driving. You see? By focusing on the most important little parts, you get better way faster. All right, so the next 2 steps are all about practicing smarter. It's about shifting your mindset and setting up your environment so that practice becomes almost automatic. Think about how we learn in school versus how we learn in the real world. Kaufman tells this great story about how he got straight A's in Spanish for 4 years, but couldn't actually hold a basic conversation. Meanwhile, his friend Carlos got fluent in English without taking any classes, just by hopping on Skype and talking to native speakers. The lesson is so clear. Learning a skill isn't about memorizing stuff from a book. It's about doing the thing. And to actually do the thing, you have to be absolutely ruthless about getting rid of anything that stands in your way. Is your phone buzzing every 2 seconds? Turn it off. Put it in another room. Is your ukulele tucked away in its case in the back of the closet? No, Take it out, put it on a stand right in the middle of your living room. You want to make it easier to practice than to do anything else. And this right here leads to such a major shift in how we think. We always say, oh, I'll do that when I find the time. But you never find time, right? It's not like finding loose change in the couch. As the saying goes, you have to make the time. You have to consciously decide to trade something low value, like scrolling on the internet, for this high value goal of learning something awesome.
Okay, so this all sounds really good in theory, right? But what does it actually look like? What can a real person actually get done in just 20 hours?
Well, the proof is right here. He didn't just talk about it, he went out and did it. He put his own 20-hour rule to the test, and I mean, look at this list. In about 20 hours for each of these, he learned a 30-minute yoga routine from memory, built a working web app, learned the strategy for Go, one of the most complex games in the world, played songs on his ukulele in front of an audience, and even learned to windsurf. It's incredible. So it turns out the biggest barrier to learning something new isn't intelligence or natural talent or even a lack of time. The biggest barrier is emotional. It's pushing through that initial suckiness. But now you have a system. You have a framework to get through it in just 20 hours. So the only real question left is, what are you going to learn first?